There is a stillness before the storm. A moment when time seems to pause, as if the universe itself were holding its breath before revealing something so profound it would change everything. This moment does not come by chance. It is summoned by a soul that dared to look inward, who felt the weight of emptiness, and instead of fleeing, walked straight into it. Have you ever had this kind of experience? When in the middle of routine, in the silence of night, or the chaos of day, a question arises with such force that nothing else matters. Who am I? Beyond the name, beyond the body, beyond the stories told about me. This question isn't meant to be answered logically, it must be lived courageously. And it echoes through humanity's oldest text-Essene manuscripts, the whispers of the Gnostics, the Vedic scriptures speaking of a higher self, immortal and eternal. Jesus did not speak of a kingdom outside this world. He said, "The kingdom of God is within you." Within, not out there. Not in Aben temples of stone. Within. But what does that truly mean? Could it be that we all carry a forgotten cosmic secret buried beneath layers of fear, conditioning, and distraction? For centuries, hidden traditions have claimed that the human being is not a body with a soul, but a soul with a body, a divine spark, incarnated asleep within a collective dream called matter. Today, quantum physics begins to confirm this. Reality is not solid, it is vibrational. What you call the world is, in truth, energy organized in illusory form. And what if your inner state is the true architect of this reality? What if every thought, every emotion, every belief silently shapes your experience? Carl Jung, studying the archetypes of the collective unconscious, discovered universal patterns within sacred images appearing in myths, dreams, and religions. He called this the objective psyche, a mind greater than the individual. And what if the I you believe yourself to be is merely a small fragment of infinite consciousness? The Hermetists repeated, "As above, so below, as within, so without." This is not poetry. It is a universal law. If you wish to transform your outer life, you must first confront what lies hidden within. The desert where Jesus fasted for 40 days was not merely geographical, it was symbolic. It was the inner space where all voices of ego, fear, and doubt are faced. And there, in silence, the voice of the true self emerges. The Sufis call this dying before you die. The Kabbalists speak of the inner temple, where the inner name of God is whispered without sound. And the Buddhists say enlightenment is not attained, it is remembered. All signs point to a hidden code within you, a direct access to the source. But how do you activate it? How do you awaken without falling into illusions, without seeking answers in gurus, books, or rituals that only keep you outside yourself? This is not an invitation to more knowledge. It is a call to the dissolution of the false. Because as long as you believe you need to evolve, ascend, or conquer something, you remain trapped in the cycle of desire. But when you realize you already are what you seek, something dissolves. And in that emptiness, the new is born. The first revelation is this: the world you see is not real. It is a reflection, a mirror animated by your deepest beliefs. Jung discovered that unconscious projections create the reality we live. When you hate someone, you are actually rejecting a part of yourself you do not recognize. When you admire a master, you are projecting your own dormant light. The other was never the other. It was always you. This is confirmed by quantum physics. The observer alters the observed phenomenon. Your consciousness does not merely perceive reality, it actively participates in its creation. So when you complain of scarcity, pain, or abandonment, you are feeding an internal program that manifests in the physical world. The ancients knew this. The Essenes lived in isolated communities, not out of fear of the world, but to protect their frequency. They understood that inner vibration attracts outer reality. Likewise, the Vedantins spoke of samskaras, mental impressions accumulated over lifetimes that determine destiny. And Kabbalah teaches that every word spoken, every thought, every intention creates an invisible world that later materializes. So if you want to change your life, do not begin with the exterior. Begin with silence, with listening, with radical questioning. Who is observing all of this? When you sit in meditation and notice thoughts coming and going, who is the witness? Not the thought, not the emotion, something prior to all. Something that simply as mystics call this presence. Jesus said, I am, not I was, or I will be. I am a pure state of existence, free from identification. This is the entry point, but the ego, the false self, will do everything to keep you busy. It loves problems, drama, goals, because the more you are seeking, the less you are being, and it is in being that the miracle happens. The second step is confronting the shadow. Jung insisted no one reaches the light without passing through darkness. The shadow is not evil. It is everything you repressed, denied, judged as unacceptable anger, desire, power, lust, deep sorrow. When you deny these parts, they do not vanish. They go into the unconscious and begin sabotaging your life. Are you drawn to people who hurt you? Perhaps you are projecting your own unhealed wound. Are you afraid of success? Maybe there's a hidden belief that you don't deserve it. The work is not to eliminate the shadow, but to integrate it, to recognize it as sacred part of the whole, a practical exercise. Sit before a mirror, look deeply into your eyes, and say, everything I see in you exists in me. Everything I hate, everything I envy, everything I fear is my mirror. I accept, I embrace, I forgive. Repeat this for 7 days. Observe what changes. The third level is that of living symbolism. The entire universe speaks in codes. Dreams, synchronicities, numbers, chance encounters, all are language. The ancients built pyramids, cathedrals, mandalas not as monuments, but as consciousness devices. Sacred geometry, like the flower of life, is not just art. It is a map of creation. When you meditate on these symbols, your mind resonates with universal patterns. The heart, according to research from the HeartMath Institute, generates an electromagnetic field far greater than the brain. And this field expands when you feel gratitude, love, compassion. This means the heart is a cosmia. And when you align thought, emotion, and intention, coherence is created, drawing in new possibilities. This is how miracles happen, not by external divine intervention, but by inner alignment. Jesus healed not by power, but by presence. He was so connected to the Father. That is, the source that his mere presence dissolved illness. Illness, after all, is energetic disorder. It is distorted cellular memory, and pure presence reorganizes everything. The fourth step is voluntary death. Not physical, but psychological. Dying to the ego. 2 masks. 2 identifications. The Orphic Mysteries spoke of this. Die to be reborn, alchemist said. Kill the king of ego, control, illusion of separation. This process hurts because every identity you've built throughout life begins to collapse. Relationships, career, beliefs, everything may crumble. But in this collapse, grace appears, because only when you have nothing left to lose do you find everything. There's a Gnostic story where Mary Magdalene asked Jesus, "When will the kingdom come?" And he replied, "It will not come by watching, nor will they say, 'Here it is,' or 'There it is.' But the kingdom of God is within you. And when you know yourselves, then you will be known, and you will understand that you are the children of the living Father." Notice the order. First, self-knowledge, then cosmic recognition. Many seek the divine outside, yet flee from themselves. And it is in intimate confrontation that divinity emerges. A practical exercise. Choose a trauma, an old wound, and enter it with courage. Not to analyze, but to feel. Breathe into the pain. Say, "I know you are my teacher. Thank you for being here. Show me what I need to see." And wait. Sometimes the answer comes in a dream. sometimes in a chance phrase, sometimes in silence. The important thing is not to run. Pain is not the enemy. It is the messenger. And when you receive the message, the pain leaves. We arrive at the climax. Imagine you wake from a long, dense dream filled with characters, conflicts, intense emotions. In the dream, you were a warrior, a lover, a refugee, a king. And now, upon waking, you realize none of it was real. Yet while dreaming, it was absolutely real. Now imagine this life, with your body history. Your name's also a dream, a collective dream. And that your true self is the dreamer, not the character. The dreamer. This is what Hindus call Maya, the illusion of reality, and what Buddhists call Anatta, the absence of a permanent self. You don't have a soul, you are soul. And soul is not something you possess. It is what you are, a point of consciousness in the infinite ocean of existence. When you understand this, something dissolves. The fear of death vanishes. Because you know you do not die. You only change form. Just as a river does not die entering the ocean, you do not die returning to the source. And in this moment, a peace arises that depends on no conditions. A joy with no reason. A love that asks for nothing in return. This is the state of samadhi, of unity, of total surrender. It is what Jesus experienced in Gethsemane. Not my will, but yours be done. He was not submissive. He was aligned. Because when the small self dissolves, the great self emerges. And this self is not personal. It is cosmic. Impersonal, pure love in action. This is what mystics call mystical union. It is not something that happens in the future. It is always now, always present, always available. Just stop resisting. Just let go of the search. Just allow what is to be. And in that, yes, everything transforms. So if you've reached this point, it is no accident. Something within you recognized the truth. And this truth does not need to be understood. It needs to be lived. That is why I invite you to do one simple yet profound thing. For the next 7 days, upon waking, look into the mirror and say, I am not my thoughts. I am not my feelings. I am not what I have. I am the presence that observes all of this. I am. Repeat this with faith, with feeling, with pauses between words. And observe what happens. Do not seek results. Just be faithful to the act, because each time you affirm, I am, you are reprogramming your subconscious, reactivating an ancient code, remembering who you truly are. And when you live from this place, the entire world shifts. Not because you forced it, but because you stopped fighting yourself. And in that silence, the universe conspires in your favor.